Hey there, welcome back. Today it feels like we are coming to the end of another season, and I think it's just there's some coolness in the air. It's like maybe low 70s, maybe mid 60s, not quite sure. I do have shorts on and a short sleeve shirt, but alas, it is definitely getting to the point where it's feeling cooler, which is odd because August is generally like the best month for heat and everything, but it just kind of feels like fall is kicking in a little sooner. And I don't know. So I don't know if we're kind of coming to the end of a season or not. Maybe it's just me and my neck of the woods. But I feel like in some ways this year's harvest has been better, and in other ways it has not been as good as other years. So yeah, this is probably going to be one of the last tours, especially at this home, because we are moving. So this is the last year that we will be gardening here. So we're moving on to other pastures, and hopefully the people who purchase our home end up loving this garden and this yard as much as we did and do. But yeah, so this will be kind of the end of it for us, but we are excited for new adventures that are ahead. So let's see what we've got growing and cooking and all that stuff. So because we're moving, I am kind of cleaning house, if you will. So I'm harvesting things. I'm probably not going to plant another round for the fall. So I'm just kind of trying to limit the amount of work I have. But I did clear out the raised garden bed, and I will show you some of the things that we got from it. So these potatoes were not in the raised garden bed, but they were in those pots over there that we had standing here in the middle of the garden. So we got all these potatoes, and then they're kind of covering the carrots, but if you can see, like, this is just half of the carrots. The rest of them are in the house right now, but we got like a whole cart full in here. So the carrots did really well again this year, so I've been very pleased. But I've basically just been emptying containers out and putting soil back into this bed because it has since kind of gotten low. So we will be leaving the cute little painted rocks garden markers that I made for whoever decides to buy the house. So there's that. But yeah, the cucumbers are doing really well. I'm really appreciating the trellises this year and the way they look. I did unfortunately harvest already, but there's still a bunch that are getting ready and growing. So those are the slicers. But look at how tall the sunflowers are. They still haven't bloomed yet, but they're huge. And then here are the pickling cucumbers. And I'm thinking I will have enough to like actually do like a jar of barrel pickles this year. And then my tomatoes have gone crazy. I didn't prune them. They've just kind of gone. They've done whatever they wanted, and I'm letting them. But I haven't had any that have really, there's some over there that are orange, but those are supposed to be grape tomatoes. So they haven't fully blushed yet. But yeah, these are supposed to be Romas. So there's some growing over there and over there. And then these really tall corn back here are those glass gem corn. And so they are doing really well too. Ooh, look at that guy. Look at that wasp. But yeah, so there's some corn husks back there. And then, so here are some of the blushing grape tomatoes. And then we have a critter that is coming in and pulling down my corn stalks and eating them. So that's upsetting, but we might still get some out of this yet. But otherwise, I've been mostly pleased. And I really think, like, so if you see this view, if you step back, interestingly enough, like, if you see the difference, it's almost like the split here in the garden, it's like it doesn't do so as well. Like, that corn is doing fabulously. Everything over there, I mean, everything in the raised bed was great. But then you come over here and it's not so great. And then everything from that point forward on this half of the yard. Oh, hey, Nightingale. How you doing? What you doing, girl? Okay, I have to go chase her down real quick. There's a hole in the fence back there. Where you going, Nightingale? Where you going, girl? Don't go that way. Don't go that way. She has been loving all of the carrot stems. Ooh, what you see? Where you going? Where's you going, huh? This way. This way. We like to stay in your corner of the yard. Yes, we do. I tossed in some little baby carrots for you to find. Go find them. Go find them. Go find them. Yes. So in sad news, I came home one day and from work and came to see the bunnies, and Marigold wasn't looking too well. So I pulled her out of Nightingale's cage and put her in a cage next to it, thinking maybe there was like some territorialness going on where she couldn't get water or whatever it was. There was plenty of food, plenty of water, but I don't know what was going on. So she looked very emaciated, didn't look good. So we separated her. We gave her her own food and own water. And this all happened super suddenly. And the next day I came home and went to check on her, and she was in horrible shape. So I pulled her out and tried to feed her and water her, because she was eating the day previous when I was giving her food and getting her water, but she still looked bad. So anyway, it was in that moment that she actually passed away when I was with her. And I think there's some sort of like illness, like bacteria or something like that, that bunnies can get when eating other food besides pellets and the hay. And I think maybe that was what was happening, because apparently bunnies' digestive tracts are super sensitive, and I can't imagine that we gave her anything that like inherently she couldn't have eaten, but there might have been just that transition or something, that bacteria, whatever it was. I'm thinking that is what caused it. So she is no longer with us, and I'm very sad. But we were kind of trying to figure out what we were going to do for transportation. So lightening our load, it's silver lining in that respect, but it's still horrible, and very sad. But Nightingale has seemed to be doing fine since her passing. There isn't any real, I haven't seen any emotional distress or anything, so she seems to be handling it fine. But yeah, so sad news. So here are our sugar sun gold tomatoes, and this is like one of the first ones that's kind of blushed. Let's try it. Well worth all of the hard work. So all that being said, the loofahs are actually doing really well. We've got this lovely bloom, and I think that might be kind of the start of one. So we might get some loofah gourds. And then we have some peas, but not as many as beans. Not as many as I thought we would have though. But I did plant some more down here and they are taking up. But I mean, even so, I'm kind of surprised that we're not getting as many here. So here's one. And then our zucchini hasn't done diddly squat. Diddly squash. I just don't think that they're pollinating. So I'm thinking that's what's going on. We self-pollinated this guy and that guy. And then there's one down there. But those are the first squash we've had, the first zucchini. So, I don't know. And then here's a spaghetti squash. The only one I've seen so far. And then, yep. Nothing. Diddly squash. I haven't seen any melons yet. But usually it needs to be hotter. And we haven't really had that many hot days. This is let's see. I don't know that there's one that might be falling. Oh, I guess I just made it fall. So got these little guys. And then these are also some of those sugar sun tomatoes. Got jalapenos still. There's some coming down there. I'm leaving these banana peppers a little longer. I just pulled a couple of them. The bell peppers are actually doing really well. So I will be potting those up for overwintering them. And I don't know what's going on with these Brussels sprouts. I don't know if we're gonna get anything out of them. They're getting really attacked, and then I don't know if I don't know what's going to come of them. So we'll see. Oh, and there are a ton of dragon beans. I just harvested all of them, but those are doing really well too. But yeah, I have to go through and really clean this garden up in preparation for our move, because it's looking really bad. So, but yeah, cleaning. So here's the fennel. It's coming up very nicely. And then also, I'm very excited to report, look, we have Job's Tears. So it's a grain, but then these things are seeds, I believe. But you can also use them as beads and a bunch of stuff. It just has a lot of like different purposes. So that's really cool. Our raspberries are actually doing pretty good. I pulled some leaves off earlier for drying for tea. And then our butterfly peas are really looking nicely. They're climbing the trellis. I pulled some of the dried ones off to start saving for teas. And I'm gonna try my hand at the cool coloring trick. Maybe I'll do that on camera for you in this video. So we'll see if it'll color and see how the lemon juice affects it. And then my chamomile is not looking too great. I think it's kind of dying off. I don't know how long it lasts in the season, but I came out this morning to harvest some of it and it wasn't looking so great. So I think it might be on its last leg. But on the bright side, look at these pretty roses. Hello. Ooh, that one just blossomed this morning. It was all together. It's like they're hot pink when they're all bundled up, and then when they bloom, they're like a light pink. So, yeah. Nothing much to report on this end. I do have some lavender. This lavender is doing really well. And it's starting to have some more. So I'm very excited to harvest that. And then the echinacea's hanging in there. And look at this bloom, it's so pretty. Love it. Bee Balm is on its last leg. So, little bumblebee. Keep on saving the world. Keep on keeping on. So, I'm gonna call it my friend. But I don't really know if we're friends because I'm a little undecided about how I feel about it. So, this buddy really scared me the other day. I'm sure it's a female. And you may not want to meet her. But I'm gonna introduce you because I feel like it's good to know these things, right? This is my friend, the garden spider. I would like to focus on her. There we go, that's better. This is my friend, the garden spider. And retrospectively, she's pretty big. I've never seen one like her before. And she's really scary looking. But ultimately, she's harmless. And she just hangs out in gardens. So, good to know. She's pretty much a friend. And look at her web. Look at that. It's like a braid. Can I focus? It's like a braid. Like that thick white spinning thing. That's all her webs. Focus. That's all her. Pretty miraculous, huh? So this is all oregano. It's very nice. Coming in here. All of this. This is the, I'm pretty sure this is the wild za'atar too. And then this is the vulgar. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was the other way around, to be honest. It's kind of fuzzy. It's kind of fuzzy. Oh, it's so soft. Oh my goodness. Which makes me think this is really the wild za'atar, but I thought I planted vulgar over here. I don't know. I need to look that up. But the oregano's there, and then these are more ground cherries that I just kind of let roll because the other ones weren't doing the greatest. Lemon balm is coming in really nicely. And then I planted some of the toothache plants here, and I saw a bunch of little baby things coming up, so I'm hoping that it'll take. There's some thyme, and the dill is just kind of, look at that, going to seed. We like that. We will harvest those. Look, there's a ladybug. Hello. The sage is so pretty. Like, you'd think it would be kind of like soft with the way it looks, but it's actually kind of more like just texturized. It doesn't really have, kind of has more of like a leather feel to it than that soft like velvety feel, I guess. And then there's some mint, and the basil's coming in nicely, and parsley. And then look at this. We've got some coriander. Did you know that coriander comes from cilantro? So the seeds are actually coriander. And then it gets ground up into this ice. So we'll harvest some of that. We finally have some chives coming in. But yeah. So there's that, but I don't know what is going on. This whole garden just got overtaken with weeds this year. So I'm gonna have to rethink this because I can't keep up with that. So I have had just a lot of success with the raised bed though, so I I'm thinking that's the direction we're gonna move in. Hi, babies. Hello. How are you all? So our Cornish, jumbo Cornish, are getting to the point where we're probably going to be slaughtering them soon. Oh, we got an escapee. But then the other two back here, those two guys, the one that's like an orangish gray, she has not been escaping. And the one next to her just started staying in. Hello, Henrietta. Hey, girl. Hi. Are you saying hello? Yes, you're my sweet girl. Yes, you are. So these are our turkeys. They're getting really big. Hi. Hi. And my gate's open, so I'm gonna have... This is like a disaster zone. Seriously, stay shut. So there's Freckles. I'm still not sure if she's a girl or a boy yet. I'm not sure. But they're all doing very well. Surprised that Rosella and Freckles have not been hanging out. Being that they are ducks. They just don't really want to hang out too much. So we are now in the front yard. And look at this purslane. It's going crazy. And then my burning bush is dying and I have to figure out why. But these white things that I can't remember the name of are doing really nicely. And then this is actually one of the kale that I planted, but it's getting attacked. It was supposed to be that really pretty Japanese kale that's like ornate and it's pink and green. I'm hoping that the other one will pop up on the other side. I planted a few of them, so I'm not sure why they haven't germinated. But I'm hoping that this will come back. So here's the front garden. I pulled out all of those really big, tall plants that I thought were celosia, because they weren't. They were like hogweed. So I got rid of them, but all of the cosmos are gorgeous. Look at these. These are those rubinatos ones, and then these are the yellow poppies. But they're just looking so pretty. And then I just left this guy here. This is a weed as well. I don't remember what it's called, but for the time being, it can stay to kind of fill in that space. And then I never could end up getting all of the hydrangeas to turn fully blue. They kind of hung out in that weird purpley zone. But look at how pretty they are. Look at that one. And then I love how my marigolds filled in the border. Very pleased with that. So, yeah, I'm happy with how this turned out. It wasn't quite exactly how I envisioned, but I think as the hydrangeas grow up, they will kind of be more like that. But I guess at this point it doesn't really matter. So, and then my zinnias. Look at these beauties. Look at those. You guys need to get out of here. Yucky. Japanese beetle. Go away. Not that that's going to help anything, but at least it's off. It's funny that, like, they kind of the colors kind of gravitated. I guess it's probably actually one plant now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah. So this is supposed to be that berm garden, and it's just looking like a hot mess, quite frankly, because of the weeds and because the big berm plants are freshly planted this year, and so they're not big and beautiful yet. They're just beautiful, not big. But here is, I think it's a Rose of Sharon, but look at those. They're so pretty. And then this whole tree thing I cut back and cut out and cut down, and it just decided to grow anyway. And then look at that. That's another one of these, and that went and grew because I wanted to save the lilac tree over another one of the Rose of Sharon trees. And alas, it is what it is, I guess. So let's see, there were, it did end up being a weed. I thought these were going to be my asters, and they're not. So I guess my asters didn't bloom. That's a bummer. My astilbe died on me. So here's a darker, I think there might be 2 Rose of Sharon trees in there because there's 2 different colors. But that was before we got this house, so I don't know. Yeah. But those 2 things, all of these like big things right there need to go. Those are weeds. And then, yeah. So there's some cleaning up we gotta do before we get rid of this house. Maybe. These are supposed to be, apparently they didn't do anything pretty. I guess that's gonna have to get pulled. I looked this up on Google and it was supposed to be some sort of hibiscus plant. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe I just totally missed the blooms of it. That looks like a bloom. Huh. But look at these. Look at how stunning those ended up being. Aren't those gorgeous? So those did really well. But yeah, so this whole garden's gonna need some cleaning up again. So until it fills in, it's gonna be the bane of my existence, I guess. Hopefully it won't be too bad for anyone else that moves in here. So I finally moved this pot over here, and I'm thinking that these are calendula. I don't remember what I planted in here, to be perfectly honest. But since I moved it over here, it's done well. Over by the other garden, it got way too much water and didn't do so great. So for whatever reason, everywhere I planted these chocolate cherry sunflowers, they didn't germinate. But I planted them here, and I'm hoping that I can get them to show you before the end of the season. So fingers crossed. Here's another view of our Brussels sprouts. So after all that debacle with the celosia up front, I have determined that this is actually celosia. And funny enough, it still hasn't bloomed yet. So we'll see. I didn't realize it was this late in the season, but there's one here and there's one there, so we'll see. So here is the onion harvest. Look at these chonkers. Look at how big those are. I'm very happy with how they turned out. Thanks for journeying through my yard with me today, to kind of see how things have grown and changed and developed, what's worked and what hasn't. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next video. I think there's more exciting things to come.